Hello there, and welcome to another video. Today, I'm going to show you guys my top 20 favourite Doctor episodes. Remember, this video is just my opinions, please don't get angry at my opinions, but I'm allowed to get angry at yours. Also, I should mention, this video contains spoilers for these episodes, so if you haven't seen the first 10 seasons of the show, proceed with caution. At number 20, I have Rise of the Cybermen and the Age of Steel. A lot of my audience doesn't watch Doctor Who, so I think I'll mention here that Doctor is two-parters, which is just two episodes that link together, and you can expect a lot of them on this list. But yeah, this episode introduces Cybermen into the new Who, and I think it does a great job. A lot of people don't like this episode, or to say it's average, but I do truly enjoy this episode. The first part sets things up nicely, and the second part is filled with action, and it's just really enjoyable. At number 19, I have World Enough in Time and The Doctor Falls. So yeah, another Cyberman two-part and another really good one. This is of course the season 10 finale, and overall I think season 10 is just average. But this two-part is incredible. The concept of a ship that is right next to a black hole and is moving, and time is moving slow at the front of the ship and is at the back. Amazing! And then the whole part of the Doctor trying to save these people from the Cybermen attacking, and he says multiple times he has no plan, but he's still trying anyway. Capaldi is really just giving it his all here, and he hasn't even gone to the fact that John Sim returns as the Master. Damn it, he missing on it much. At number 18, I have The Impossible Astronaut and A Day of the Moon. The opener to season 6 is definitely the highlight of the series. The whole idea of the Doctor dying, which is basically the season arc throughout the whole series. A lot of people don't like season 6 for that much, but I think it's bloody brilliant. But anyway, back to this episode. The Doctor dies and a past version of him comes. It's just a really cool story, and the silence is some of the coolest films the show has ever had. I don't have much to say about this two-part other than the fact it's great and sets up season 6 very nicely. At number 17 there's The Angels Take Manhattan. Possibly a controversial episode to have on this list, but I don't care. This is the last episode with Amy and Roy, and the last episode that had the Weeping Angels as main villains. Wow, this was 2012. Chibnall, please bring them back. Anyway, I do really enjoy this episode, and whilst the whole Statue of Liberty thing doesn't make much sense, that's a topic for another time. Leave a comment if you'd like to have a video on the Weeping Angels, by the way, because I've had the idea for about 1 minute before writing this. Anyway, this is of course also an emotional episode, because as I said previously, it's the last episode with Amy and Roy, but I wish Rory had a better send-off. Oh well. At number 16, I have The 11th Hour. Matt Smith's first episode is definitely one of his best, and in my opinion is the best introduction to a new Doctor ever. It introduces Matt Smith's Doctor nicely, as well as introducing Amy Pond as a new companion as well. Like my number 18 pick, I don't have much to say other than the fact it's really bloody good. At number 15, I have Midnight. What is there to say about Midnight that hasn't already been said? I don't think anyone would have thought an episode set in one location where you don't even see the monster would be one of the best episodes ever. The Doctor and Nonna have gone to a planet called Midnight, which is made of diamonds, and the Doctor goes on a tour bus thingy to see some thingy. Look, I haven't seen any episode in a few months. When the vehicle breaks down and the creature enters the ship. It's such a clever idea and it's executed incredibly. 14. The Girl in the Fireplace. Stephen Moffat's second ever story for the show, and his only one from the RTD era that isn't scary. So his clockwork robots are trying to get the brain of Madame de Pompadour, and are using some kind of technology to go back into her time to do it. Apparently the woman who played Madame de Pompadour didn't even need to audition for the role, and that's not surprising. Her and Tennant have such good chemistry, and this episode really tells a tragic love story in a very good way. Number 13, Heaven Sent. Yeah, you're probably expecting this episode to be on this list. Sadly, it didn't make it to the top 10, though it's still absolutely magnificent, of course. Many people say this is their favourite episode, and it's easy to see that. The Doctor is trapped in a castle and needs to figure out how to escape whilst the creature called the Veil chases him. The ending scene where he has to punch the diamond wall, dying over and over and going billions of years in the future is truly incredible. It blows my mind how much crap Moffat wrote for Capaldi's era, though he wrote this in the middle of it. Also, I just wanted to mention that this episode only has 3 cast members. Only 2 of them talk, and one of them only has like 2 lines. Number 12, Smith and Jones. So yeah, the season 3 opener is here, and this is honestly my favourite opener of the whole show. A hospital is transported to the moon, and alien rhinos called Jadoon land on the moon also. I love how the Jadoon aren't the villains of this episode, and it's a woman called Mrs. Finnegan, who is a plasmavore. I also love how, whilst the Doctor and Martha are trying to stop the villain, the Jadoon are going around the hospital, which leads to some tense moments. And also, before rewatching this episode a few days ago, I didn't really like Martha, but now I do, and I think she's very underrated. And number 11, Science in a Library in Forest of the Dead. Now we're back to another two-parter, and this time it's Moffat's last episode on the United Era, and it's of course another good one. The Doctor and Donna go to the biggest library in the universe, but no one's there. The whole idea of the Russian Narada is incredible, and the fact this is the first time we, the audience, and the Doctor meet with a song is brilliant. And a lot of people don't like her, probably because of how complex the storyline is, but I like her. At number 10, I've got Dalek. Here we are, in the top 10, and this is the first Dalek story of the revival, and the first Christopher Eccleston episode on this list. Don't worry, there'll be more. This episode introduced the Daleks back into the show in a fantastic way, with just one Dalek. This really shows how dangerous they are, because that one Dalek nearly kills everyone in the base. This episode is also one of Christopher Eccleston's best performances as a Doctor. Seeing him get angry at the Dalek is so good. At number 9, I've got The End of Time, Part 1 and 2. This is possibly my most unpopular pick for this list, but I can't help it if I love this story so much. This is of course David Tennant's last episode, and god damn it, it's sad. In my opinion, Part 2 is the saddest episode of the whole show. A lot of people have problems with the Master and say it's really weird, but I don't get this complaint. This is Doctor Who, it's gonna be weird. Anyway, back to the story. The Master's return and turns everyone on Earth into him. Like with previous entries on this list, I don't have much to say about this story other than the fact it's really good and just really sad. At number 8, I put Bad Wolf and the Parting of Ways. Now on to Christopher Eccleston's last story, and it's, in my opinion, the best regeneration story of the whole show. I like how Bad Wolf really isn't anything like the Parting of the Ways, because the Daleks aren't in it until the end, and the Parting of Ways is just fantastic. It's like a futuristic war movie in a way, and Chris's regeneration is sad, especially because he has one scene. At number 7, I've got Human Nature and the Family of Blood, another episode, like Heaven Sent, you're probably expecting to see on this list. This episode is really unique because the Doctor takes human form, and David Tennant has a really good performance as a human school teacher. Speaking of good performances, the guy who plays Jeremy Irons does an incredible job as the over-the-top villain, and I like over-the-top villains, and Freema Agyeman, I think I'm saying that right, does an incredible job as well. Overall, this story is just incredible from start to finish, and it's honestly probably flawless. At number 6, I've got Army of Ghosts and Doomsday. Yes, the season 2 finale. Again, probably expecting this episode on the list. This episode, of course, has the incredible battle of Cybermen versus Daleks. Before that, the Doctor and Rose return to Earth, and there's loads of ghosts everywhere. The ending of Army of Ghosts is incredible and gives me chills every time, and I love seeing people's reactions to the Daleks coming out of the void ship. I love how the Doctor actually teams up with the Cybermen, though I wish more of the Cybermen Daleks battling was shown for. Rose getting killed in the parallel world is so sad as well, and I honestly don't get why people hate her in season 2 so much. The two of them loving each other is barely brought up. And also, I don't get why people think there's too many Cyberman episodes in series 2. No, that is a topic for another video. Number 5, I've got The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances. Here we are, the first Stephen Moffat story of the show, and the first scary story of the show. Infection-style stories always scare me, but this was the first one. And it's a great start to this type of story. The whole idea of the gas mask child is incredible, and there's loads of gas people chasing our three main characters. It's so intense. Oh yeah, in this episode they introduced Captain Jack Harkness, so of course it's amazing. And before, I've got The Stolen Earth and Journey's End, the big one, the most epic story in the show. Every companion back from the revival to battle the Daleks, and Davros returns as well from the classic show. The Daleks have never been more menacing, and the Supreme Dalek just looks so cool. Donna losing her memory is just like so emotional, and for a long time I did think it was the saddest moment, but like stated earlier, I think Tenant's Regeneration is the most emotional. This two-part is just thrilling from start to end, and people don't seem to like the resolution to this episode, but I don't mind it. And number 3, I've got The Day of the Doctor, the 50th anniversary special. 3 Doctors, the Time War, and the Zygons are back for one incredible adventure. Seeing David Tennant back is so great, and him and Matt Smith have such funny scenes. John Hurt also gives a great performance, and I wish you could have seen more of him in episodes. I also think this is the best directed episode of the show, and like the previous entry, doesn't have a dull moment at any point. And number 2, I've got The Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit. Here it is, the episode I've seen the most, and the episode I think every Doctor Who episode should be like. I mean every episode should be in a base near a black hole with the devil. I mean they should all be creepy and interesting, not have a teeth-covered thing, or start off together and have a chubby little B-Tech adipose that just wants to eat things. Anyway, this story is just incredible from start to finish. From the phenomenal setup and mystery that the first part has, to the intense and epic revolution that the second part has. It's so good, and I can always watch this episode and enjoy it. Decided to give an honourable mention to The Waters of Mars. Now you might be wondering, why do I have an honourable mention in the top 20? And it's because this episode would be my favourite if it didn't, wow, scare me. Yes, I'm saying it. This is the scariest episode of the show. The Flood are just so terrifying, from the design to the concept. And it's a shame this episode scares me so much, because it's a really great story and about the Doctor breaking the laws of time. Anyway, Waters of Mars would be my favourite episode if it didn't scare me so much. At number 1, Blink. Here it is, the highest rated episode of the whole show, and it's certainly deserving of that. Blink is just phenomenal, and it's crazy it's so good because the Doctor and Martha are barely in it. Sally Sparrow is just such a good character, and the story is just incredible anyway. What can I say that hasn't already been said? Blink is just phenomenal, without a single flaw. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. This is the first video that I've wrote a script for, but please tell me how I can improve my countdowns in the future, and what countdowns you'd like to see from me. I do have lots planned in the future as well, so you can have lots to watch. So yeah, like and subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next video or stream.